Welcome to Stock Shots. Today is Friday, February the 13th, 2009. The Dow was down 82 today, the NASDAQ down 7.35, and the S&P was down 8.35 points. I've been saying on the show and on my blog, I absolutely cannot see a catalyst that will drive this market higher. I think we are headed closer toward economic disaster than we are the economic recovery that the mainstream media would have you believe we're headed toward. I heard Larry Kudlow today. If anybody could have talked up a market, Kudlow could have done it today. He tried his best. The market couldn't be talked up. It can't be talked up or wished up. The fact is, we're in an economic mess, and this stimulus package, bailout bill, handout, throwaway, whatever you want to call it, is going to make matters worse. This is not a Republican statement, Democrat statement. This is simply a guy who trades his own money looking at the markets. Go tell me how this bill, a 1,000-plus page bill that was produced sometime last night, was passed through the House today, will pass the Senate tonight. These guys don't even know the details of what they voted on. Could you have read 1,000 pages of legal jargon? Certainly not. They didn't. They wanted to pass this bill. But again, this is just a continuation of Bush spending like a drunken sailor, but this bill will make things worse. You can go listen to the mainstream media tell you how. I've even heard some of them resort to saying, well, we really won't know whether this bill helps or not because the economy may just turn around on its own. If you know how the economy is going to turn around on its own, go to my blog. That's stockshots.blogspot.com. Go to the comments section and give me a detailed, intelligent answer as to how this market is going to go up. I don't see any catalyst. Might we get a bear market rally? Yeah, we might. But I don't think it'll be any more than that right now. I got some criticism last night. I think it was last night or the night before when I put out a statement saying I was afraid that the Dow was going to 6,000 and the S&P 600. Somebody said, hey, what'd you do, just pick a random number out of the air? No. I put what I thought were reasonable earnings on this market, and when you slice the price down to meet those earnings for your price-earnings ratio, I came up with close to 6,600 for the respective markets. Let's look at what's really going on with this spending bill. We are creating a stimulus bill, by my definition, would be one-time expenditures designed to really get this economy going. That's not what we have here. We have a continuation of certain programs that, and again, don't send me an email saying that I'm against a welfare program or a food stamp program. That's not what I'm talking about. This is an economic show. I'm not making a political statement. The simple fact is we are creating programs that will be continued. We are setting up to increase expenditures, and that's all there is to it. So again, we're positioning the dollar for a fall. I know I'll get a ton of emails. You've been wrong on the dollar. Short term, the dollar may strengthen against some currencies. The Eurozone, quite honestly, their banking system is in as big a mess as ours. But I'll point back to what I said several months ago. China and their stimulus was funded with cash. China's not running huge deficits to get their stimulus going. China's doing a much better targeting job at the infrastructure than we are. I think China will get going again. What's the scary thing about that for the United States? Our dollar will erode, because if China's growth gets going again, what are we talking about? Copper prices going up. All of these things, oil prices going up. Nat gas prices will go up. I could go on and on and on. We're putting the ingredients in the pot for stagflation. I don't see anything that's going to get our economy going, yet we're in more of a globalized marketplace than we've ever been before, and the potential for inflation is there. Deathly afraid. I've had some of you sending me emails about my gold pick. I still believe that gold goes to $12.50 over the short run. I believe gold will hit $12.50 in this quarter. May not be a popular call for inflation, a falling dollar, but I try to make my money based on what I see happening. In these markets, buy and hold is dead. I had a couple of stocks today that I was trading. I would not have carried that. This time last year, I would have certainly carried the positions overnight. I wouldn't dream of carrying the positions overnight now, whether I'm trading the long or the short side. We've gotten, as a marketplace, to where we're looking toward the government for answers. This is a free market society. We cannot look to the government for answers, because I can tell you, whether you're Democrat, Republican, whatever, these spending bills are bad for our economy. They're awful. Don't let anybody in the mainstream media tell you that these things are going to get things going. They're not. I've had several listeners question why, if I'm bearish on the markets, I'm not bullish on the treasuries. I've commented several times that I think the TBT is a decent vehicle. I've traded it. I currently do not have a position in it. Why do I think that? At some point, and many have argued, and I understand over the short run their argument, but many have argued that China absolutely cannot afford to not fund our debt because so much of their exports depend on the United States economy. I agree with that to a certain point. I posed that question to Jim Rogers about a month ago, and his response was basically, at some point, when it becomes a bad enough investment, they'll have no choice. It took us, 80 years to put $1 trillion on the Fed's balance sheet, and now we're throwing a couple of trillion on. At some point in the very near future, our treasuries are becoming a bad investment for foreigners. China is, as I've said, working on their own stimulus. Looks to be a good infrastructure stimulus. They may get their economy going. They may be figuring out a way to reduce their dependence on our economy. I'll go back to what Gerald Celente said. We need to be figuring out where our next productive capacity is coming from. That's one of the things that I'm hinging my thesis on. Is it natural gas as a method to power our cars? Is it wind energy? The answer is there may be several things out there, but they are not going to help in the short run. We have no visibility. This is a crisis. I see an economic crisis. I've received emails from people arguing the point. It's simple deflation. We're not going to see inflation. We're rebuilding the bank's balance sheets. Worst case scenario, we nationalize the banks. Listen to what that argument is. Nationalize the banks in a free market society, a society that's built itself on capitalism and letting markets work. The fact that we're even having that conversation, the fact that we've had to inject all of this government money in, we've created a crisis, and I don't see any way out. Again, if you have a idea of how this economy is going to recover, go to my website, put it up. I love to engage in thoughtful debate. I hope there is another side of the equation that I'm missing, but I don't see it. Do I see the dollar falling immediately? No. The point that I make with the dollar falling is that we're continually putting the ingredients into the pot, and psychology plays a part of it. I've had several people ask me, why do you have bullish people on your show? Because there are two sides to every trade. I want to know what bullish people are thinking. I want to know what could drive the market. I want to know what some of those people in control of some of the cash that's on the sideline are thinking. I want to know what they're planning to do. It helps me with my short-term mindset. But over the long haul, I see the dollar falling. We'll have the third part of our Miss Shedlock interview out tonight. Thank you for listening to Stock Shots. Our show has grown, and we appreciate all of our listeners, all of the comments. We're all trying to make it through this together. Hope our economy recovers. There's nobody that's any more patriotic than I am. I want this economy to recover, but until I can see some signs, I will invest bearishly to try to make money for my family. Thank you for listening.